Alright, Omega time. A heartless hypothesis. The bespectacled technician is enjoying the refreshing harbour breeze. I'm interested to see how this goes. I have no idea what to expect. Other than we probably end up in Ultima Fool. Ah, that's blown the cobwebs away. Time to return to work. Goodness me, look who it is. How incredibly serendipitous that I'd run into you of all people. Well, thank you. I was part of the team which designed the Ragnarok, you see, and we've recently begun the process of combing through the vessel's flight log data. The primary objective of your journey to Ultima Fool was to save our star and countless others, of course, but it also provided us with an invaluable trove of information, records of places and events we could only dream of. Your safe return gave us much to be thankful for. As it so happens, one of the things we pulled from the log was a transmission of unknown origin, something the ship must have intercepted during its flight. We believe it to be an audio message, but even our most talented linguists have been unable to decipher the language. Interesting. For a while there it seemed we must accept defeat, but today may be the day we finally solved the mystery. If you were so inclined, would you care to come along to Famozane? It seems fitting to have one of the Ragnarok's original passengers present to hear history being made. I would love to. God, the night music is so beautiful. 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 Amigos. Come to Papa. Argos, I must demand that you come to Papa. Alright. Presumably, I guess we'll be taking the Ragnarok back to Ultima Fool. I know we can teleport there, but Omega and Alpha haven't been there yet. Well, as far as I know. Ah, there you are. This is where we're to meet the engineers from Alpha Endwalker engineers, who I am told potentially hold the key to unlocking our mystery transmission. They should be along any moment. Whoever could it be? It is a cool ship, isn't it? Sorry we're late. We had some trouble finding the right... God, is that you, Ty? Who's speaking? Oh, it's Biggs. Hello, Biggs. I can't do Irish, so we're not even going to try. Yes, the man himself. I ran into him in the harbour, and thought if anyone deserved to hear this message deciphered, it was Ty Mel. That's me. No argument here, but bugger me if you don't have a knack for being in at the right place at the right time. This actually had more to do with you than you might think, so please do stick around. Always, Biggs. Shall we pick up from where we left off then? Oh, I'm ready. As I was saying, we think this transmission the Ragnarok intercepted is a message of some kind, albeit in a language entirely alien to our ears. Alien being the operative word here, considering we received the message out in the great expanse. Its origin was likely from a distant star. Unfortunately, our list of off-world allies is presently rather short. Thus, we were resigned to the fact that the meaning behind the words would remain beyond our understanding. That's the dragons. Although only Midgard-Soma would know, wouldn't he? One of my colleagues, however, refused it that face. Refused to give up. She remembered the Ironworks engineers had been so helpful in the construction of the Ragnarok, and turned to them for insight into a seemingly impossible problem. Were they? Didn't they come right at the end after it had already been built? Just throwing that out there. Do you know what Wedge said when he heard what was going on? We should have Omega listen to it. But I can tell us what the message means. Not the Omega you beat in the rift, of course. He's talking about the toy that trundles around with Alpha. A little model we made. Originally designed to follow a chosen target, and not much else. But I've seen it act in ways that, well, it's like it has a mind of its own. Then I got to thinking about those documents you lot sent the chief. The full report on the final days. In the part about Omega civilization, it said that people discovered how to convert the mind of data and store it outside the body. Timing being what it was, I wonder if Omega didn't somehow transfer its consciousness into our model right before we put an end to the real one. You don't say. Oh, hello, buddy. Now there's another trio for the ages. So, in an effort to get to the bottom of that, as well as take a crack at this indecipherable message, we decided to make some modifications. With help from Labyrinthos technicians, we've upgraded our toy Omega with a fully functional vocalization module. Oh god. Is that a good idea? We played the transmission for Omega, and I think it's ready to share. Oh, Alpha. I love you, buddy. Are you in there, Omega? Buddy? Affirmative. If by Omega, you are referring to my consciousness, rather than my entire former chassis, existing inside this considerably smaller frame. Sorry about that, buddy. You were going to kill us, though. Prediction. You'll formulate several misconceptions. These I shall preemptively dismiss based on the following facts. 1. Localization module aside, this chassis remains unmodified from the design constructed by engineers Biggs and Wedge. I evaluate its combat capabilities to be on par with a mortal infant. Sorry about that. 2. The mechanism which allowed me to perform an emergency transfer of my consciousness was installed in my previous body. With the destruction of that body, I am rendered incapable of replicating such a feat. Should this current material form be destroyed or cease to function, all cognitive awareness or presence I possess will also be lost. That's not good. Let's avoid that. Conclusion. I present no threat to your star. Nor do my projections indicate the necessity to inflict harm. In the fraction of a moment before my annihilation in the rift, I re-examined my directives. Interesting. If I am to fulfill my purpose as an evolving construct, then I must continue my journey for improvement for as long as I exist. I must acquire this heart of yours, this strength of soul. Has Alpha been helping you with that, buddy? Well, there you have it. And it's not wrong about its combat capabilities. It'd be more likely to damage itself than the thing was trying to attack. Alpha could speak to us at the end, right? Through the echo. Wonder if that's going to come up. But let's not forget the reason we brought you here in the first place. What about the transmission they played for you? Could you recognize the language? Affirmative. It was transmitted in Pan-Galactic Basic. Pan-Galactic Basic? A common language in comparatively extensive usage throughout the worlds we have conquered. Oh, well, what be for you, sir? Which means you can tell us what the message said. That is a language you understand, yes? I understand it perfectly. I am fluent in over 6 million distinct dialectal codings, a bleep. My cooperation in this matter, however, is conditional. Yeah, buddy. Elaboration. Your Chief Sid utilizes the floor as part of this unorthodox filing system, which allowed me to scan the report on the final days. You cheeky little bugger. I'm aware that my home star, the one you call Alphatron, was obliterated in the aftermath of Sir and Meteon's meeting. Sorry, buddy. Oh, look at Alpha doing a little sit. The existence of Dynamis has not previously factored into my projections, but I now comprehend the concept, in theory. What fails to compute is why Omicrons were not immune to its effects. Dynamis should have no influence on a race which possess no heart. And yet, Sir expressed to Meteon a desire to cease existing. Illogical. I must pursue this anomaly further, until the full equation becomes clear to me. I must analyze all the elements of the final days, and deepen my understanding of the heart's intangible properties. Graha wanted to meet one of these guys alive, right? He'd be happy to bump into you, buddy. Should bring him along. Alpha's fallen asleep, bless him. To expedite the process, I require an external interpretation of those sections of the report which continue to produce errors in my calculations. I request the assistance of Thavnair, as one who experienced the ravages of ultimate despair on multiple fronts, and displays immeasurable heart in engineering my defeat. He is the optimal choice to fulfill this role. I mean, I would have done it for you anyway, buddy. So we either agree to your condition, or you'll tell us nothing. I'm sorry to put you in a spot like this, Ty. If you have the time and the patience to spare, we'd be grateful if you could humour the toy's demands. It's a bit reductive to call it a toy now, isn't it? Oh, Alpha. Has Alpha dozed off? I suppose the subject was a bit technical. Bloop. Rouse yourself, Alpha. You must listen to and consider these matters, even as I must. Why don't you just make a trip out of it? You know, actually visit the places that has the things Omega wants to ask about. It'll make explaining stuff easier for one, and also help keep Alpha awake and alert. Sounds good to me, a journey with these two. My dreams are coming true. Each and every one. What a remarkable development. Biggs and Wedge told me much of your encounter with Omega before we began. And now we have the Omicron's weapon talking. There are so many questions I'm simply dying to ask. Back when we were first exploring our options, we did actually consider playing the transmissions to the inhabitants of Ultima Thule. The problem is, we would be dealing with beings recreated through Dynamis. Their communication is based on emotional energy, and anything lacking that vital component would likely fail to register. That rules out a recorded message, and so we focused the resources we had to hand, never dreaming that the solution would all but fall into our lap. Cool. Omega has been on an outright terror to us in the past, but it's almost strange how little it frightens me now. It helps that it trapped itself in a tiny model, of course, and that it follows Alpha around like a puppy. But most of all, I remember the Chief telling me how much I sounded like a lost child there at the end. Yeah, it did, bless her. I bet the Chief won't see this one coming. Once he gets over the shock, though, I don't think he'll want us to destroy Omega. Nero, on the other hand, well, he'll want to use the model for some dangerous experiment. In fact, maybe we should put off making a full report for now. Well, he's on the moon. Don't have to deal with him anymore. Quack. I see you have chosen the mutually beneficial option. Logical. Thanks. Setting aside the matter of Sir, there are 3 elements of the report on which I desire clarification. The first of these concerns the progression of the final days in Razat Ham. I recognize no pattern in those who succumbed to the transformation, and those who did not. That's a bit of a trek if you wanted to chat with the locals. How about we lend you an airship? We do not require such outmoded technology. Ice teleportation spell is the most efficient option for long-distance travel. Can you make use of that? This chassis is a model, essentially a toy. And Alpha, despite his organic composition, is indistinguishable from a stuffed doll. Conclusion, We qualify as material possessions. Pick us up, and you can teleport us there, to your destination. Sure, works for me, buddy. Come on. Come on a journey to the unknown. Oh, buddy. Little Alpha. Hey, dude. I missed you. Alright, I'm not really picking you up at the moment, but we'll pretend. We live in a fictional world. Almost be pretending. Yeah. Quack, quack, quack. Nice. Blip. Sensors indicate we have arrived in Rise at hand. Objective. Identify factors for resistance to involuntary transformation. Hypothesis. Unaltered survivors of the final days will display significant strength of heart. Confirming this theory will require the cooperation of life subjects. Where is the ward designated for residential habitation? That area over there. Understood. Karma. Set as our sub-destination. Please take the lead and select the subjects we are to interview. You're companioning me. Yeah, you are. This body has no advanced navigational or geo-scanning functionality. You must lead the way. Quack quack. Yeah, quack. I go above to get there, right? I do believe. Memory serves. If you're not just teleporting there. Warning, please avoid stairs wherever possible. My projections indicate high risk probability of accidental slippage leading to catastrophic structural damage. Steep inclines also increase my energy consumption by 63%. In mortal terms, they tire me out. Taking into account the difference in individual limb length, the design is inherently flawed. A convenient step height for one is an exhausting trial for another. Were I to oversee the civic design of this settlement, I would construct a sloped curvier belt, which enabled automatic traversal. Zero personal energy expenditure. So an escalator. Not a bad idea, so not bad. Quack, 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 quack. Alpha chirps enthusiastically, apparently unfazed by the prospect of climbing the stairs. Alright, we will just teleport over there. Gamma. Alright. Here we go. Hey, don't I know you? Yes, after the beasts were taken care of, you told me to join everyone in the square. Thanks to you, I was there when Vitra gave his speech, and I found out who Vashon really was. Yeah, you were really hype. It's a shame we don't get to play like we used to, but Mama says Vitra has been busy putting the city back in order. Maybe I can work for him one day, when I'm a grown man. Vitra, Midgarsoma's offspring, yes? And this child wishes to put himself at the worm's command, that he might make his own contribution to society. A pattern emerges. I predict that the Hanish survivors are those who had ingested Vitra's blood, and become his draconic minions. Interesting. Oh, wait, no. I think you're wrong, buddy. Though dragons were no match for our civilization's might, their combat capabilities are not to be underestimated. Didn't they technically fight you off? They just got obliterated in the process. It is unlikely they would experience emotions of dread or uncertainty, as exhibited by lesser beings in times of undue stress. Dragons? I'm not a dragon, and I never ingested anyone's blood either. Oh. You are not of the Leech's horde, so you possess no hidden means to fight off the beasts. What of fear, then? You were frightened? Yes, I was frightened. I just hid and hoped they wouldn't find me, at least until he told me it was safe to come out. Good on you, laddie. Not in here. Oh, yes, in here. Like I've spoken to you for another quest. Oh, hello again. You're the one who came and asked me questions about Galzal. I'm glad you looking well after all that unpleasantness. You too, my lady. I remember the burning skies and hearing the screams, but truth be told, I'm still confused as to what actually happened. I only know it wasn't unusual for entire families to go missing. Many of my neighbors' houses lie empty now. Kazar's place is one of them. He had no close relatives to speak of, and I heard that it was members of the consortium who came to remove his belongings. What a terrible thing to have to do. Blip. Terrible? Kazar's passing was recorded in the report. Clearing out his domicile and readying it for new habitation seems an appropriate reallocation of resources. Dear me, what a clever little contraption. But of course I'm not against making use of his quarters. That would be wasteful. Simply that Kazar was always such a vigorous person. All that passion, all those dreams, suddenly gone. I feel the same sorrow for everyone who was lost. Seeing the remnants of those vibrant lives packed away in boxes. That is what I mean by terrible. You're learning, Alpha, right? Oh, Omega. Oh, you too, Alpha. We've all got some learning to do. Are you a traveler? Please, if you have the moment, I could use an outsider's perspective. Sure, buddy. You see, I was one of those who sought to escape the madness plaguing the world by fleeing to the moon. Not that we ever went, in the end. So here I am, recently returned from Shalyan. I expect to Thavnair things are strained between my sister and I, since she chose to stay and I chose to leave. I ask her to help me find work and she suggests I look somewhere that isn't Thavnair. As if I wanted to abandon my home. Makes me so angry. Blip. Your point is unclear. You elected to relocate to the star's satellite. Thus your relative now perceives you in a negative light. Your sibling's judgment is in error. Based on the information made available to Hanish citizens, your decision to withdraw to the moon was both logical and correct. Conversely, the decision to remain in Razadhan, despite the low probability of survival, defies explanation. Perhaps our reasoning pathways are faulty. Maybe. That's right. I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but I'm right, aren't I? Or so I like to think. Problem is, I understand why my sister feels this way. Almost decided going myself. Even then, I wasn't sure that leaving everything behind I loved was the right choice. And with all the way it all turned out, I require a moment to process this input. Let us move apart and discuss our findings. Alright, buddy. You insist? Blip. Processing data. Evaluating hypothesis against accumulated evidence. I offered an optimal analysis of each subject's testimony, yet each time their responses conflicted with my assessment. Without identifying the root cause of this conflict, I will be unable to properly define what constitutes strength of heart. Perhaps the heart you seek lies in the conflict itself. Perhaps we should continue the questioning. Perhaps this matter is beyond you. No, that's rude. Perhaps the heart you seek lies in the conflict itself. I'm sure the questioning is helping. An interesting observation. it is possible my base criteria is in error. In which case, it is imperative that I continue this learning process and repair any fundamental misconceptions. Next, I wish to interact with an individual who endured similar circumstances to Calzal prior to his transformation. Are you acquainted with any local merchants who had dealings with him? I am, as a matter of fact. Bleep. Shinbaha of Revuda Fibers. Acknowledged. Sub-destination set. Not who I thought, but sure. Sure. I thought we were gonna get to fishing boy. But I suppose not. Malay at it. We're gonna talk about you. Actually. Objective. Speak with Jimbaha of Ruveda Fibers. What imperceptible qualities allowed him to survive where Calzar did not? Quack! Quack quack! My favourite quack. Hold tight, do not proceed beyond the fence. In this body, birds of that size represent lethal, unthinking threats. They will peck my casing apart, searching for meat that does not exist. Conversely, Alpha can correctly identify my absence of nutritional content. If only he would apply that intelligence towards maintaining a regular feeding schedule. Poor habits adversely affect his mobility. Oh, gotta learn, Alpha. Quack quack, quack quack. Alpha looks back and forth between Omega and the Hamza, showing visible concern. Don't worry, buddy. It's all gonna be good. Hello. Wow, look who it is. I must thank you again for your help in moving our textiles. Recovering from those tragic events has been difficult, of course. With everyone pulling together, we've managed to get things back up and running. Yunabaha, I come with questions related to that tragedy, specifically your survival of the final days. Although you are similar to Calzal in many respects, he succumbed to the transformation and you did not. Why? What is the critical difference between you and him? What? I'm not sure, I don't know. I'm not especially brave or courageous, if that's what you're asking. Perhaps being focused on protecting our workshops kept me from spinning into a panic. Still, I imagine Calzar would have been feeling the same sense of responsibility. Perhaps the weight of it all is what invited his demise. You were of the same mind, resolved to the same purpose. Yet your strength of heart or spirit was not equal. If merely emulating the individual is insufficient, then some other unseen factor must be involved. Not to interrupt these deep philosophical musings, but do you think I could ask you a small favour? Again, go on then. There's a man by the name of Nashvan, who's been helping us out where we get back on our feet. His feet even. I have a feeling he'd benefit from speaking with you. Lead by the eastern exit and you should find him outside, organising some new inventory items. Alright. Sure thing. Ba, 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 ba. The equipment being manufactured here, it is worn to perform specific duties, yes. Conceptually, it seems analogous to our practice of switching frames to better serve our mission objectives. I, for example, did not begin existence with the Omega model. I was originally supplied with standard issue Omicron chassis. Serial number M017. Interesting. On this world, that alphanumeric combination would be considered my given name. Such designations are drawn from our nearly infinite register of celestial bodies to avoid the possibility of duplication. Furthermore, the cluster known as M017 is better expressed in your language as the Omega Nebula, the same word I use to introduce myself to your kind. Though you associate Omega with the advanced weapon construct, it is also my name, and I see no reason to change it no matter which frame I inhabit. Makes sense? Quack quack, quack, eh. Alpha puffs his chest proudly, seeming to imply that his Ironworks uniform is the best attire anyone could wear. It looks extremely adorable on you, sir, so I can't argue. I'm still surprised. As far as I know, we never got that as a clan. Unless it's on the store. Or it's a quest I didn't do. I'm sure I would wear it if it was available, like. That's all our orders accounted for, and everything looks to be in good quality. Kamala will be pleased. Hello. You were with the Scions. You were there. Yeah? How you doing? Yeah, I'm sure of it. I'll never forget that day. You and your friends helped us escape when people began changing into beasts. Wasn't Graha such a badass? My own son, he was afflicted. Then that huge monstrosity loomed right over him and oh, it's this guy. I remember my heart turning to ice, freezing in place. The satrap came to my aid, but then he, too, was gone. There, buddy. I remember, game. Don't worry. Oh, sweet, sweet Graha. The memories run together in my head, like flashes from a nightmare. Only the words of your comrades still ring clear. I repeated them over and over like a mantra as I fled for my life. You must run, for their sake and your own. Bless you, Mr. Tia. It all seemed so surreal, which was probably what saved me from the transformation. The truth of it didn't begin to sink in until the worst of it was over. I have not the words to describe how I felt then. The sorrow, the overwhelming sense of helplessness. I may be wallowing in misery if not for my old friend, Shimbara. I'd lost my will to work, and he encouraged me with kind words and odd jobs. Now somehow, I'll live again. Good on you, buddy. I'm thankful to him, to the courageous One, and to you. If you see your comrades, please let them know their efforts were not in vain. Oh, that'll also make Graha really happy. You should have come. You said you lost your will to work. This signifies a cessation of efforts to maintain basic life functions, yes? What changed to extract you from that stagnation? An offer of work from Jimbara should mean little to no one without the desire to accept it. Was it some manner of mortal instinct? A primal need to survive and thrive? Instinct? No, it wasn't that. If anything, my instincts were telling me to lay down and welcome an end to the pain. Every day I think of my boy's final moments. I think of how scared he must have been, how I must have hurt, and I want to scream my throat raw. The satrap, too, still haunts my dreams. I see him being swallowed whole and jolt awake in a cold sweat. I too am sweating right now a little bit, I'm gonna be honest, it's not bloody warm. But something changed when Jimbara came to me. I looked up and saw that Even without my son or Arwen, the world around me continued to turn. And because that fact grieved me so, I knew it fell to me to live on and remember them. Strange, isn't it? What drives me to rise in the morning is the very sorrow which once crippled me. Yeah. Beautiful, man. Now, I really must return to my work. To lose this job after everything I just said would be a poor jest indeed. May the sisters keep you well. And you too, buddy. There. Sorrow. The emotion generated by mortals when their ideals fail to materialize. This I have observed. Yet when I listen to how Nashvan's sorrow served to rescue him from the near-fatal despondency, his logic eludes me. Am I incapable of perceiving the full message of the heart's properties? I don't think so, buddy. My best projections failed to predict our subject's responses. None of us can predict that. To no, certain degree. Because nobody's the same. And despite their almost equal occupational and mental parameters, Jimbara and Kalzal exhibited different reactions to the Daemoness effect. I am no closer to recognizing the pattern for involuntary transformations, and your ephemeral mortal spirits confound me as much if not more than they did before. Considered that there is no pattern? Yeah. Some of us were ever shrouded in mystery. Perhaps it's time we move on. The hearts of others were ever shrouded in mystery. Yeah. It's not ours to know, buddy. It's theirs. Bloop. Even to you, this matter is more complicated than I initially calculated. If those possessed of heart cannot fathom the behavior of their own kind, then my lack of understanding is inevitable. My investigations here are exhausted. In lieu of full conclusion, I will settle for storing this accumulated data for further analysis. Let us progress to the next element of the report, that you might continue my education. We're going to Garlemald. I feel like we should go to Garlemald. Dr. Eulis. Hello, buddy. How you doing? I love Quinn. But which I'm in Alpha. Let me turn my volume up a little bit. It's a bit quiet. But yeah. Don't think that should change things for you. Let's see. Yeah, it seems to be fine. Bam bam badam. Quah. Quah quah quah. Quah indeed, buddy. Quah indeed. Goodbye. I wonder what that is. Omega has selected a new destination. Maybe we're going to Ultima Fool. No, we are going to Garlemald. Nice. Our new next destination will be Camp Broken Glass. I desire an elaboration on the dealings between the Ilsabad contingent and the citizens of Garlemald. The report described the contingent's purpose as the salvation of the local populace. Furthermore, both factions faced a common enemy in the Telophoroi. Why did they not immediately combine forces to their mutual benefit? This inconsistency requires closer examination. Tai, initiate teleportation. So, is this like the equivalent of the Heavensward questline? Which is like an epilogue. And you go see Hoshafont's grave and what have you. Since we seem to be going down memory lane. Oh, you freezing, buddy? Well, your superior outfit doesn't feel so superior anymore if it's not keeping you warm, eh? Teleportation successful. Evaluating immediate environs, a cold weather region by Etheris standards. Well, it's calling it Etheris now, but significantly less extreme than a star with ice planet classification. I guess it would be quick to update it as a AI. This body should not be unduly impeded, in contrast to Alpha and his uncontrollable shivering. My frame appears highly resistant to low temperatures. Retrieving data. Records indicate the remnants of the contingent force and a number of Imperial citizens yet inhabit this location. We must speak with representatives from both factions and explore their representative altitudes. Blip. Proceed. Cool. Who are we talking to? Oh dear. Did I not get this? More you know. All the more you know. It is in the sea of side quests. I think it's understandable. So, come to see how things are progressing up here. Yeah, no. Not quite. I can't speak for the overall strategy, but communication with the locals has become a damn sight easier since Euless and his soldiers stepped in to help. Well, we still face a share of distrust, of course. Some folk even think we're enslaving the minds of our foreign magics. We have Eleanor to thank for putting that idea in their heads. But all things considered, I say we're doing pretty well. Establishing an open dialogue was the first big step. Query. You consider this level of progress acceptable? The reality of your efforts fall far short of the ideal. If your aim is to provide efficient succor to the local populace, then absorbing their numbers into your command structure would be the optimal path. Oh, I wouldn't want to go that far. We're not looking to take over the nation. If we were to do this the right way, we need to recognise that we respect each other's way of life. So while it may not be the easiest solution, I agree with the contingent's slow and steady approach. I'm just happy we're saving lives. Good on you, boy. Good on you, boy. Ooh. Can we go? No. Wishful thinking. Hey, buddy. A shadow from the past. Yes, I know you from Victor's spoils. Have you come to laugh at me? A wretch who chose to lose Licinia and her sister rather than accept your help. The fool who ended up reliant upon the charity nonetheless. No, buddy. Well, perhaps I deserve your derision. My compatriots surely scorn my failed conviction, have shamed my people, and brought dishonor upon my nation. I am no better than a beast kept beast, my pride sold for a bowl of feed. But my soul, nay, that you shall not have. I refused your honey offers to a new home. This land is where I belong, and this is where I shall remain. Alright, calm your tits. Blip. You demonstrate the opposition to the contingent's overtures. On what basis do you refuse this cooperation? The data suggests the local populace is struggling to produce the bare minimum of sustenance. Have you some secret strategy for survival? Or do your orders compel you to accept the present misfortune? This is the thing, Omega. Not everyone's logical. What? Must I be mocked by Magitech toy now? No, I have no secret strategy. No binding orders. I but comport myself as any true Garlean patriot would. Uncompromising, unbending. Blast it all. Once again, this input is unanticipated. Let us move aside and process what we have heard. Alright, dude. There is naught for me here. I know this. But if I surrender my homeland, then what was it all for? We're gonna rebuild it, dude. Just did a quest for it, don't worry. It's gonna be slow, but as long as everyone works together, entirely doable. Accessing and analyzing recorded data. Integration complete. I have evaluated the most recent input and made comparisons to our discoveries in Raz at Han. Consistent only in their inconsistency. The responses from both contingent member and Imperial citizen were highly irrational. Conversely, any Omicron considering their predicaments would have echoed my sentiments assessment exactly. The divergence from self-evident logic is key. Hypothesis. The illogical relationship between would-be survivors and suffering populace is another result of the unpredictable nature of mortal hearts. Indeed, there you go. We're learning. Blip. Any property or ability has inherent advantages and disadvantages. Yet never have I encountered such a unique detriment. It appears that those who share your metaphysical capabilities are prone to complicating simple cognitive processes. An undesirable quality. I will, however, persist in furthering my understanding of the subject. There you go, buddy. Alpha's happy to continue. Query. Prior to formulating our next step, I wish to know, who is this Licinia the Imperial mentioned? Oh, the girl and her sister. That was sad. Yeah, that was a depressing moment. Oh, there, Alpha. Acknowledged. To summarize, insufficient data on foreign culture resulted in inadvisable and ultimately fatal action. I witnessed such self-destructive behavior during the course of our planetary conquests. Overwhelmed enemy forces would voluntarily withdraw into perilous regions, leading to a succession of inevitable losses. Tangential data request. I wish to learn about burial customs. The practice has ever seemed nonsensical, but new data suggests it arises from the same source as your cognitive complications. Take me to this Licinia's burial site. It may aid me in bloop. What's going on, buddy? Dude? Energy delivery systems compromised. Core temperature critically low. Bleep. Warning. Immediate heating required. Request. Apply friction to outer frame. Start snuggling him, Alpha. You're fluffy. So much for Mr. My chassis is perfect compared to Alpha's. Quack. Quack. Quack, quack, quack. Don't worry, buddy. Oh, don't know why I'm warming up, not you. You're a bloody teddy bear. Bloop. Blip. Temperature nominal. Energy level stabilizing. The creators of this model must have experienced impaired cognitive reasoning during this design process. Upon our return, I will request additional climate shielding, as well as an accurate temperature sensor array. This will not affect my combat capabilities, but should improve my basic survival rate. Reconfirming sub-destination. In which direction will we find Victor's spoils? To the east. Blip. Acknowledged. Alpha, you are to remain in close proximity, close enough to envelop me in your feathers. You are permitted to carry me on your back if you so choose. Aww. That sounds adorable. If he's not on his back when I go over there, I'm going to be very sad. I did not think we'd be revisiting their grave. Pushing the knife further, eh? Yes, it was sad, but it could be more sad. Bastards. Utter bastards. Yes, you've had first funeral, but what about seconds? I didn't know about seconds. No, I'm disappointed. Quack, quack, quack? Quack? Bloody pissing it down. Blip. A deceptively deep snowdrift almost defeated me. But we have successfully arrived at the location you indicated. Blip. Caution advised. Someone's already here. An unknown individual appears to be investigating the object of my interest. Someone mourning, I imagine. You're Eos's champion, aren't you? Thavnair. Aye. Come to pay our respects, sir. Never introduced myself, did I? I'm Manius, soldier of the 1st Legion, and comrade of Julius. Perhaps you remember me from Tiratim. We spoke about collecting ceruleum, and again later on, after Lord Quintus had passed. I'm glad I'm pondering, so I don't remember. Manius, explanation requested. What is the reason for your presence here? That must be the tiniest magitech weapon Oh, no. It's just an oddly shaped communicator, isn't it? In any case, I have nothing to worry, nothing of worthy to report. I heard that the sisters who used to live in my sector were buried here, so I thought I'd come and pay my respects. Alpha and Omega told me the story, complete with profuse apologies, though they were adamant that no amount of remorse could erase the tragedy of what came to pass. Not that my fellow soldiers and I are in any place to judge. We were manipulated, fooled into starting an insurrection, which led to countless deaths among our own countrymen. Objection. The casualties incurred through your infighting are distinct from those caused by the Ilsabad contingent. To restate, you are justified in seeking restitution from the contingent for causing the deaths of Licinia and her sister. Retaliation for damages sustained is also a logical progression. Don't know about that, dude. I can deduce 2 reasons why you do not initiate hostilities with Tai and his allies. 1. You judge your remaining forces too weakened to contend effectively with the contingent. 2. Your emotions are complicating the issue. Don't need to be so blunt about it, sir. Tell me, which of these is correct? Both, I think, in this situation. Well, when you lay it out like that... I'm afraid my answer isn't like to win me any medals, so would you mind keeping this to yourselves? Of course, buddy. There's the unspoken thought that we're outmatched on the battlefield, certainly. But the real reason I'm not demanding restitution has little to do with weighing the odds. The simple truth is I'm so caught up with simple surviving that I've no strength to spare for past grievances. The same goes for avenging any comrades we've lost, be that my brothers in arms or Lord Quintus himself. Although it seems everyone has an opinion about the manner of his passing. Some say he should have fought until the end, that he abandoned us to the enemy. Others praise him for taking the full burden of responsibility and freeing us to walk our own path. I don't know who's right and who's wrong, but but I'm inclined to side with the latter. He gave us the choice of freedom, and that's the choice I made. I could cry and rant and rage, but what would be the point? I'll save my energy for worrying about my next meal, my next task. Sensible, buddy. I need to focus on the ones left behind, on making some kind of life for my comrades and me. And if I need to lean on the contingent to do that, then that's what I'll do. Even if their aid comes at a price, I'm willing to pay it. Even amongst your own, there are times when cooperation demands compromise. What matter that they're outsiders? Besides, I think I could grow to like Alpha and Omega. They've reached out to us with kindness and compassion from the very beginning. You look after them, alright? Treat my kiddos well. Summation, your desire to survive, even should it mean allying with the contingent, was a feeling that you already harbored. That your side had committed worse atrocities was the logic you invented later to justify your reasoning. Blunt but accurate, I suppose. The heart is honest about what it wants, even if the mind takes a while to reconcile with the decision. Oh, buddy. Well, this has been oddly cathartic, but I must return to my duties. There are wild beasts to kill. Watch fires to light, supplies to transport. Even without an emperor, there's no rest for an Imperial. Be well, and stay safe. You too, buddy. We get more time in Garlemald in the later patches. I want to see this place grow. Blip. Upon review of recent input, I have arrived at an unexpected conclusion. I'm shocked. I've been formulating my assessments on the premise that it was man who commanded the strength of his heart, but the data suggests it is the opposite. That is true. The surge of spirit, of feelings, of emotions can tangle your thoughts to such a degree that even control over your own behavior is compromised. It seems a most counterproductive specification. Fair. This also explains why my interactions with morsel subjects have produced more confusion than clarification. It prevents a formidable barrier to understanding. There, buddy. You're getting there. Oh, Alpha. Quack. Quack, quack, quack. Blip. My earlier hypothesis has been borne out. The suboptimal operation being conducted here is the result of emotionally compromised reasoning. I am ready to progress to my third and final query. I would learn more about those referred to as ancients. It is clear that this group was a crucial factor of the final days, but the information contained in the report was insufficient to form an overview. The Loporrids are creations of the ancients, and are said to maintain repositories of their knowledge. By my calculations, the base of these moon dwellers will provide the best source of additional data. Teleport us there to their Borotei, preferably before my battery freezes over. It's kind of hoping we're going to Elpis, but I'll take it. Quack, quack, quack. Pardon me, Quest. Oh, apologies. Okay. Ooh, back and ready to go. Blip. Your teleportation spell was successful. We appear to have arrived at the location described as Beastway Burrows. An inspection of the technology in use here would give me detailed insight into the ancients and their civilization. This body, however, lacks my previous frame's advanced observational functionality. I will require external assistance. Hello. No, it can't be. Hello, Growing Way. It is you, Ty. Oh, Ty, I've missed you so. I missed you too, buddy. God, what is this you brought with you? This soft, feathery vision. We've been outfluffed. Pack up the moon. It's all over. Why bother with burrow building bunnies when you can walk around with this adorable avian engineer? Just bait me into a pie and be done with it. There, buddy. Don't need to be jelly. We can all snuggle with him. Inspect our inventions? Wait, so you're not done with us? Oh, I wasn't truly worried, of course. I certainly wasn't about to roll myself into dough and dive into cooking with his new oven. Well, I don't know that I believe you. If a technical breakdown is what you need, then I'm your lot for it. As a residential atmospheric regulation expert, I can field any question or query you might care to pose. Blip. Acceptable. I will employ this being to guide me around the facilities. Your presence is not mandatory. Even locked within my current chassis, I am still an autonomous construct that has endured hundreds of your life cycles. I am capable of completing this simple objective alone. Alright. Suit yourself. Hey buddy. Hello. Alright, we're going anyway. I'm happy to spend some time with Growing Way. Nope, I'm waiting. Never mind. You have a good time. Objective complete. What happened to Growing Way? He's already gone? I miss him already. After my 50th question, his responses began to suffer noticeable delays. By that stage, we had viewed a representative cross-section of Lockwood engineering. Thus I deemed it unnecessary to retain his company. Aww, Alpha's not happy about that. Conclusion. Extrapolating from the fraction of technology on display, the full spectrum of the ancients' advancements was, at minimum, equivalent to level 4 civilization, a fact which demands further investigation. Despite establishing an ideal society, these beings nevertheless harbored a weakness which invited self-destruction. In studying them, I stand to gain a greater understanding of Sir's anomalous decision. Growing Way informed me that another type of ancient-made entity exists upon this satellite, the one they call the Watcher. I would speak to him. Yeah, that makes sense. It's just down the road. Have a right chinwag with him. Blip. Then couldn't serve your Eva. We will ride this Argos to our destination as you have suggested. Don't know if I give you permission to ride my Argos. See? Come to me, Argos. It's my Argos. Who's the best boy? Who's the best papa? Yes, you are. Giving you a good home. Now, the Nara is gone. I'm looking out for you, aren't I? I don't like the idea you've been stuck in. Quack. Yeah, it's adorable, isn't it? Bloop. Impedance detected. The creature identified as Argos refuses to acknowledge our presence. Hypothesis. Upon our arrival, Growing Way expressed concern that he had been outfluffed. This suggests the existence of fluff-based hierarchy. I mean, you could say that, yeah. My station as such a system would be predictably low, but Argos is adamant in ignoring even Alpha. Its fluffiness level is impossible to gauge. Argos turns to you with an impassive graze. It seems you will need to intervene. You're right, buddy. You're the fluffiest of them all, dear Argos. Come here, buddy. On a sweetie patini. Oh, he's so happy. Argos gives an exasperated snort before motioning to his back. Seems you have permission to climb aboard. Nice. Bloop. You have secured the creation's permission. Curious. Is it your fluffy ears which provide such exemplary standing in the Yes, I too am fluffy. Bleep. I have allowed myself to become distracted. Let us continue on the Watcher at once. Oh, I'm enjoying this. Oh dear. Yes, I am at the top of the fluffy hierarchy. Because of my adorable ears. Look at me, so fluffy. Goddamn Omega. Omega. Quack. Quack, quack, quack. Yeah, square. Blip. The Watcher located. An estimate of this being's height explains the inconvenient scale of Bestway's burrow. I was bemused by the arrival of these small visitors, but I see they are companions of yours. What a rare thing for my abode to be thus crowded. How may I be of service to you? Hello, Watcher. My purpose here is to learn more about the Ancients. I would know of their deeds, their philosophies, the very nature of their hearts. I would understand why the final days was visited upon my homestar. I suppose they were, in a way, indirectly responsible for his homestar's destruction. In a way. I think. That seems to be the implication from this anyway, those the final days that buggered them. And we know who is responsible from that, even if not intentional. A worthy endeavor. But there is another better suited to assisting you with that task. Perhaps you might favor us with a tale or two of the ancient you met during your travels, Tai. My fragmented memories would be a pale substitute, indeed, for the clarity of your more recent experiences. Bah. I could just take them to Elpis. I can't teleport there. I do suspect that's where we're going next, since we seem to be going in order. Although we did miss out Labyrinthos. I suppose we started there. Oh, I like the way I'm looking while I'm telling it. Showing the care and respect that we have for the Ancients. And the bitter undertaste of their fate. Yes, I can envision every detail. Your meeting with Thavnair, and Emet-Selch and Ifladeus. The sorrow and determination of Hermes. I am a creation of Eidolon, and as such, I believe the age of the Ancients would fade and be forgotten. Yet knowing that their memory lives so vividly within you, it brings me great joy. I pray you keep them close to your heart. Oh, I will, buddy. No doubts about that. At the time of your journey to the past, the one whose essence I embody would have been a scholar at the Thavnair. A shame, had you reason to go there, perhaps you might have met. That would have been cool, dude. As a man of learning, he was firm friends with Thavnair. They spent long hours trading theories, or debating the laws of the universe. I remember joining her faction as the final days bore down upon us. Yet of the events surrounding that tragedy, I recall precious little. Eidolon wished for the people of your age to decide their own path, but I suspect my recollection was limited by design. Yet even she could not cut away one persistent memory. I feel most distinctly his sadness over what has come to pass, that in becoming Eidolon's heart, Thavnair would forever stand apart from the people she so loved. So this is the person that was talking to her in the flashback. Well, not the flashback, but the recording in Amarat during Shadowbringers then. Neat. If she were to resolve in her convictions, then he too would share her sleepless vigil over the future yet to unfold. Thus was the vow he made to Thavnair as her transformation took hold. His fervent wish must have reached her in some fashion, for though his life was drained away by the summoning, he was reborn with new form and new purpose when I awoke as the Watcher of the Moon. And you heard, Ty. You felt, you fought, and in seizing the future for yourselves, have you brought full circle the saga which Thavnair began. What you accomplished was no divine miracle. It was but the beacon of hope passed down from generation to the next. A succession of wishes and prayers reshaping the star into the world we know that you deserved. Oh, bless you. You have our deepest gratitude. I thank you not only as myself, but as the man I once was, and on behalf of those that devoted themselves to Thavnair's vision. Thanks, dude. That means a lot. Bloop bloop. I understand the facts of your story, Ty, but not how you have chosen to process them. On what grounds do you speak of Thavnair with such fondness? Excuse me? By sundering the world, she ultimately guided your kind to victory, yet in doing so caused irreparable damage to its individual members. The full scale of that act is beyond calculation. It is evident, however, that it resulted in a protracted period of suboptimal existence for Emet-Selch and his brethren. Yeah, but if she hadn't have done that, we wouldn't have been able to utilize Dynamis and we never would have won. Right? We needed Dynamis to survive that final fight, so it had to happen. The ancients weren't capable of utilizing it at all. Query: if the survival of your kind is the deciding factor in your evaluation, then should you not also admire Hermes and his decision to subject man to a trial, forcing you to change or perish, as was the fate of countless civilizations before you? From my perspective, his determination was similar to that of the Omnicrons, ancestors, those who first began trading flesh for machine, so that our people might stand against the onslaught of aggression from our other races. It was an unprecedented attempt, accompanied by much failure and sacrifice. Their early experiments were crude, primitive. Had they not made those first advances, however, we would have remained vulnerable to our environment. The violence would have utterly consumed us. And what of Emet-Selch himself? Judging by your retelling, he was a benevolent ally saddened with tragic fate. I think it's a bit more complicated than that, but that's also true. He was a good boy. He was also a bad boy. Yet I remember the years when my instruments fed me data from events across the entire star. During that time, I witnessed this Asian engineer multiple instances of cataclysmic strife. These calamities, as you know them, were responsible for planet-wide destruction. A man whose endgame relied upon extinction of all modern mortals must, by definition, be your worst enemy. Again, it's not that simple, dude. I require an answer. As a being of heart and soul, how do you classify each of these pivotal figures? From your perspective, which of them was most justified in their actions? Neither, both of them. They were all justified in their own way. I don't know about Hermes. I'm not sure about that one. To an extent, but not in the same way. But if I could just pick those two, then they were all justified in their own way. They believed what they were doing was right, and to an extent it was. It was all for the survival of others. It was just a different group of others. I think I understand. You seek a definitive answer, yet based on our experiences, Ty and I might develop very different opinions. In the same fashion, you are free to form your own thoughts on the matter. Do not be so swift to consider them without merit. Yeah. I do not have my own thoughts on the matter. I assess each situation with the same logical pathways available to every Omicron. Even if 1,000 Omicrons were asked to analyze the same event, they would all return the same result, regardless of individual experience. There is no strength to be found in fractured reasoning. Nonetheless, I find your input valuable, recording data alongside interview results. Odd. This concludes my investigation into incomplete elements of the final day's report. I will reanalyze the accumulated information and examine the factors which led to Sir's incomprehensible decision. Blip. Let us return to Pharmazian. Quare. That was a nice little conversation. I enjoyed that. It was pleasant to hear about your tales of Elpis. Should you ever need an audience familiar with the subject, I'd be glad to listen to more of your recollections. Even with one's gaze fixed upon the future, we oftentimes find our thoughts drifting to the past. It is a shame that Heidelin never chose to speak of it. Indeed. Yeah, I don't think you guys needed to be forgotten, for us to thrive. If anything, we should be learning from the mistakes that you guys made. Labyrinth was... Assume this one. I assume this is the one. I'd be surprised if we don't go to an Ultima Fall at some point. We can actually take him to meet Sir. Well, I don't think Sir's still there, is he? But still. Who? You had a fruitful trip, I hope. I'm absolutely bursting to ask about your experiences with Omega, but I don't wish to be a pest. I'll swallow my questions for now and maintain my academic decorum. Besides, it seems our engineering friends are in a hurry to leave. Ty, I wasn't sure you'd be back in time. Oh, back in time for what? Blip. Quack, quack, quack. Ah, there you are, right at the last moment. Your journey with Omega was properly educational, I hope. We planned to ask you all about that, it and the mystery transmission besides. I'm afraid something urgent has come up. Ooh. Seems one of our ironwork associates has folded up a job elsewhere, and Jesse needs Wedge and me to rush in and lend an hand. There's an airship ready waiting for us out in the harbour. In fact, do you think you could escort us over there and we'll talk as we walk? Blip. Acceptable. I'm fully capable of speech during ambulation. Oh, I figure you might be. Right, let's get a move on then. Oh, this music. Remember, we are going to Ultima Fall. So, you've cleared up all those points of confusion then? Thinking about it, buddy. I had mistakenly classified your intangible heart as an ability of some kind. An uncanny power that Omicrons would never learn, nor even measure. Even now, its full nature yet eludes my comprehension. Based upon our investigations, however, I've decided to alter my definition. Go on then, let's hear it. A phenomenon which influences one's interpretation of reality. God, that was whoops-a-daisy. This is as close to an answer as I have found. Accordingly, Sir's actions upon meeting Meteon strongly indicate the presence of a heart. Indeed. Sir did not follow routine logic, but formulated an independent assessment based upon the reality it perceived. It felt that the best recourse for Omicrons was to cease their expansion and terminate all function. Well, here's our ship. Aye, we need to get going, but first, I'll lodge you to your bargain, Omega. It's time you told us what was in that transmission from the flight logs. Blip. Acknowledged. I will uphold the terms of our agreement. The recording salvaged from the Ragnarok was a simple one. The message is so basic, in fact, that the time spent listening to it may result in a net loss of value. Shall I continue? Nah, you're just teasing. Tell us the message already. Acknowledged. Converting dialect coding to local language. Playing this music's choosing. To whomever receives this message out there, in the vast reaches of the cosmos. To someone, I hope, who looks up at the stars with the same wistful gaze as mine. Hermes. To you I say, forge ahead. May all of your tomorrows be blessed with joy. Sweet. Only that's the message you'd have got, eh? This message had no designated recipient. It lacks purpose. No, I don't think it does, buddy. The concept of joy is overly abstract. The vocal supplication to manifest said joy is unrealistic in its optimism. Yet based upon their expressions, my assessment of the transmission's value conflicts with its apparent impact. And still, I fail to understand you, sir. Your heart still confuses me. Was termination of everything the correct course? How did you arrive at this conclusion? See you later, boys. It defies all my attempts at reasoning. But I was designed to evolve. If I continue to learn, then the probability that I eventually comprehend this phenomenon is greater than 0. So I will pull the dilemma of your decision aside for now. And continue my existence upon this distant star. As I dwell among these many life forms, so will I continue to piece together the complete shape of their mortal hearts. I must document their progress. And make progress of your own, buddy. You got quite sad at the end there. Quack! Quack! Your contribution to my education is appreciated, Tai. Indeed, I have amassed a satisfying quantity of valuable data. Now that our negotiated business is complete, however, Alpha and I will return to traveling the world. Drawing on recent experience, I am confident we can expand the radius of our ventures by significant margin. And you can talk to each other now. We need not limit ourselves to Eorzea. I am now familiar with Sharlayan and Razad Han, and would also like to revisit the freezing climes of Garland. I neglected to instruct Biggs and Wedge to upgrade my climate shielding. Blip. I will reroute my request to Deputy President Jessity. Engaging ambulation and parting salutations. Farewell, Tai. See you later, buddy. I love you, dude. Alpha gives you a vigorous shake and draws forth a scrap of paper from under its wing. Where? It seems he wants you to have it. Perhaps this is his way of thanking you. Flow together, orchestrion roar. Nice. Thanks, buddy. Blip. Swiftly, Alpha. The road is long, and we have barely begun our journey. So I guess they're going to pop up in Endwalker zones now. Presumably. Man, I hope we get more with them at some point later on down the line. I want to see what happens with Omega and Alpha. God, that was really good. I enjoyed that. I didn't expect it to get that emotional at the end there. I think it's the music that did it. Like I said, that music's cheesy. So listen to that show. Ooh. Leather. Leather. Oh, probably. How am I doing this? Ooh. Don't judge. I don't have the money to upgrade it. Alright? I don't have the gil for it. One day. Select track. Where would it be? Oh, flow together. Oh, come on. Alright, never mind. Well, I know which one it is now. It's, what am I doing? No. You can tell I don't use this much, huh? Yeah, it's the Hydroline fight, the banana fight. Still. Oh, I'm just gonna... Oh, listen to this a bit. do that. Oh! My brave little star. Man, I'm glad they put this version in. Oh. Yeah, that was really good. It's fun to go. It sort of had a bit of an element of the Heaven's Ward epilogue thingy that you could do, which was great, because I don't think Shadowbringers or Stormblood had that, which is a shame. We still didn't go to Albus or Ultima Fool, which it would have made sense to go there, like, but that would have been nice, but hey ho. Where we did go was great. I guess we didn't really do much in Labyrinthos, but what would you do in Labyrinthos? Who's worth talking to that? I guess Moonbreeder's parents maybe would have been fun. Well, I'm not sure fun's the word for it. It would have been quite sad, I think. No, I'm gone. Come now. Come now. You've been on this bloody long, you can work a little bit longer. Oh, my phone's like completely gone off. Oh. It is boiling, crikey. Presumably because of how fucking warm it is, just in check. Alright, let's stop using that. There's the camera. That's unfortunate. Anyway, yeah. It was great to talk to the Watcher. I really enjoyed that conversation. I always enjoy going back to Galamald, but I liked a little bit where we got to somewhat discuss, you know, who was right between Emmett and Thavnair. Because it really is just a matter of perspective. You know, it's not either or. You know, Emmett was right to do what Emmett did for Emmett and his people. It was wrong in the overall grand scheme of things, but you know, you can think of it as by not doing that, he's condemning his people and his time to death. Thavnair the opposite, right? She sacrificed everything for the next people, for those coming next, for us, you know, because it was only right we would get a chance. That in and of itself is good because of that, but you know, it gives us a chance, but it's bad because it condemns her people to not existing. I mean, overall, not existing, but you know what I mean. Overall, I mean, especially for those trapped in Zodiac, right? They had to be there because Zodiac needed to be there for the ether to shroud the planet to keep the Dynamis out. So they had to be trapped in there. Imagine how shitty that was for them. But like I said before, it's like that had to happen for us to be able to take Meteion down. I don't think the ancients would have been able to do it, right? Because in the end it required Dynamis to protect ourselves from her attacks. You need the limit break there. And presumably what comes from, you know, the Scions, their shield is also Dynamis. Presumably. Yeah. So it's not clear cut. Ultimately, you know, if you want to think about it on the ultimates, then she was right, because, and I think Emmett sort of accepts that in the end, right? Like he says, our directions or whatever never would have, our plans never would have brought us this far. But then he didn't know, you know. That's the other side of it, is that he and the other ancients didn't know what the situation was. His memories were taken and we never told him afterwards. So they never had the opportunity. I guess you could make an argument that if they did, then maybe, you know, they obviously would have been able to create a Ragnarok of their own and get there. Maybe they could have stopped it. But then I guess you gotta ask if they would have believed her, if she had told them. But yeah, it's not super clear cut, which I think is why it's so interesting. It's like, I especially like that Thavnair is also not just, it's not clear cut there, you know, she's not, like, she's a hero, she's amazing, but you can't say she's like 100% good, right? Even what she did was kind of a bad thing for a good reason in a way. She was the one that sundered everyone. You know, without their consent, I guess, with forcing it upon them. Then in the end, it's like she takes the ultimate sacrifice. Because unlike Emmett and Hippolytus, Aretha is pretty much gone forever, right? She uses it all to fight us. She doesn't get to come back. But she did get to rest, finally. So yeah, I really enjoyed that part. And I think that's one of the more interesting sort of elements of this whole story, right? So the Emmett versus Thavnair situation. Not like, it's not really the Zodiac versus Heidelin that's interesting, or the core of it, really. It's Emmett's side versus Thavnair's side. You know, it just, Heidelin and Zodiac are proxies to that. And I think from that respect, it's a good thing that, you know, Zodiac wasn't really a character. Because he didn't need to be. You know, the character of Zodiac, I guess, for us is Elidibus. Like I say, I'm not sure you could say the same thing for Hermes, really. You can understand where he's coming from. But I don't know. Ultimately, potentially condemning everyone to obliteration is not. It's hard to justify that, you know. At least with Emmett and the Asians, it's like it's getting rid of everyone to bring back everyone else, you know. It's a passing to. Whereas with Hermes, it's like, well, maybe everyone doesn't deserve to exist, you know. Man doesn't deserve to exist because we don't treat others right. Which is fair. It's entirely fair. Yeah, that's I think that's the best part about the story. It's just how interesting that discussion is. And the debate that can come from it. Although I'm not sure there is much of a debate in the community. I think most people are on the same page. But I like how complicated it is. And, like, things don't have to be grey to be good. But when it's done good, like it is here, it definitely makes for a more interesting discussion. Yeah. What else have I got now? I don't think have I not got the, what's this? Meh, I say. Yeah, that works. Yeah, I always enjoy going back to Garlemald and seeing how things are changing there. Because we kind of leave, in the MSQ the moment we sort of solved that situation. So obviously, like, understandably, but obviously we don't get time to see how things are progressing there. I'm hoping that that's going to be a consistent thing throughout all the patch series. That we get to see that place grow, you know. At the end of the Royal Quest, they sort of tease that they intend to rebuild it, and I don't know that that'll be shown in the game, right? But it would be nice to see sort of how the people there evolve and sort of see things get better for them. That'd be nice. It was definitely one of my favorite areas to go in the expansion. That's where it really kicked off for me, I think. Thavnair and Redzaham. That stuff was alright. It's cool to talk to that kid's dad again. See what he was going on. That was a nice moment. Yeah, I'm just interested now to see what goes on with Alpha and Omega. You know, whether they go from here. Hopefully we get another one of these one day. Maybe this could take place at the epilogue for all expansions. You know, we go exploring everything we did during the expansion with Alpha and Omega. I think that's a cute little way to do it, and see how Omega grows and evolves throughout their journey. And hopefully next time they give Alpha like a story to give him the opportunity to grow. Well, I very much enjoyed myself. It got quite sad towards the end. I think that's mostly the music more than anything else. All I can think is when I heard that is obviously that final walk when you're on your own in Ultima 4. Yeah, that definitely has an impact still. But yeah, anyway, thank you for your time. I enjoyed myself. I hope you enjoyed yourself. I very much appreciate it. I shall see you next time. So long. Oh well, I'll be Design. Adieu.